The plan for today is to put a second and a third coat on all the trim with the spray gun. So I'm gonna go get that put together, get the paint in there, we're gonna get that sprayed, and then after that, we're gonna clean up the house. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the fan installed before I do the third coat. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but we were hoping to move into this room tomorrow, as you know, if you saw the previous videos. But that is not gonna happen because there is still a lot of work to do, and refinishing the floors is gonna take a lot of time. So we're gonna get what we can done today. Luckily, tomorrow's Saturday, so we are off of work and we're not going to Kansas City this weekend. So we have all day to work and then all day Sunday. So we should get a lot accomplished this weekend. So you probably couldn't tell in that video because it was so fast, but the sprayer was giving me a ton of trouble. It would go for about 4 inches and then it would stop for about 4 inches and then it would go again. And so it was just striping everything and I could not figure it out. I spent a good 45 minutes cleaning the thing after I was done 2 nights ago. So I don't think it's because it was dirty. And when I put it together, there was no paint on the inside of it anywhere. So I don't know what the problem was, but I don't have time to screw with it. So it is gonna get returned and we are just gonna brush all this because I don't have time to mess with it. And I don't know if you can tell, but it really didn't even coat it very well. I mean, it's so thin because it was only spraying out about like this today, not as thick as it did yesterday. So it's really speckled and overall did not work well second use. The first use was okay. The problem was it was inconsistent. Sometimes it would spray really thick and sometimes it wouldn't. And it wasn't a huge deal because when it dried, it kind of leveled itself out. So I wasn't worried about that. But this today was a disaster. So I already cleaned it up so the paint wouldn't dry on it, and I'm gonna take it back to Home Depot sometime this week. Today, I don't know when I'll get to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry for the recommended 2 hours, and then I'm gonna brush on another coat and probably have to brush on another coat after that because these 2 coats just sucked. So overall, I would not recommend that sprayer, which it's a Wagner 590, Flexio 590, and you know, I thought it would be decent because it was the highest end model in the kind of consumer line, and so it was the highest priced one that wasn't like $700, and so I thought it would be decent. It's not, so I would just get you a pack of $15 brushes and brush it on. The other thing is, that sprayer sucks down way more paint than a brush does. I mean, just these 2 windows, the little bit of trim in the closet, and the inside of the door frame with 2 barely good coats, and I've already used a half a gallon of paint. So yeah, for DIY trim painting, I would recommend a brush. The sprayer is all packed up, ready to be returned, but before I get to this fan, I've got to clean up this mess. All right, we got it cleaned up and we are going to work on getting this fan installed, and then Katie's gonna paint later, so hopefully we have a whole coat of paint on the wall with the fan installed. This is where the light was hung in the center of the room. You can kind of tell about where it's at. So that held a light. I don't know if that box is rated for a ceiling fan, and I don't really know how to find out, so I just went ahead and bought a new one, and this one will go up in the attic and then it will bolt into both rafters on each side. It's rated for 75 pounds and my fan only weighs 35, so we should be good. You guys are familiar with this space by now because we did a lot of things. We wired the closet light, which is right under me. We wired these 4 lights in a previous video. And today we are gonna get this fan wired up. So if you can see this little cord here, that is the one that went to the old light. So the old light is somewhere in the middle right there. So we're gonna move all this stuff, get access to it, and then put this bracket in like that inside there. I found the box, as you can see, and it is so sketchy put up here. It's nailed to this board, but this board is not even attached to the rafter on this side, so I really don't know what was keeping that light up other than it doesn't weigh a whole lot. So I'm glad I didn't just attach the fan to it. This one is going to be much better because it'll span the whole distance and be bolted with 4 bolts on each side. I got the bar installed. It is in there solid, and I took that box off because you put it in afterwards from the bottom. So we're gonna go down there. The box is a little bit bigger than the one that we took out, so I'll probably have to cut this hole open a little bit more, but I can mount this box in here, poke a hole out, run a wire, and then we will wire the fan and connect it up. The box is in and it is rock solid, so it should have no problem handling that fan. The next step is we're gonna go back up in the attic, run a wire down in here, and I know I told you guys in a previous video that I was considering putting 2 or 3 outlet, a double or a triple box here, so that we could have a switch for the fan and for the light in the fan, but this fan does not come set up out of the box to do that. It has a fan and light controller built in, and it's designed to just run power to it all the time, and there's a remote that remotely shuts it off. So the remote is pretty ugly and it feels very cheap, so maybe down the road we'll replace it with a different fan controller that can have some nice switches that go in the wall, but for now we're gonna leave it because we don't really have time or want to mess with cutting a bigger hole, patching it, wiring it, all that stuff. So for now this will work. We also, as I said in a previous video, we'll probably never use the light in the fan, and we actually rarely use the fan. We really put it in here because sometimes it gets stuffy at night, and also we didn't know what to do with that hole. So that was a big decision in putting a fan in. So we probably won't use it all that much, but it's nice to have just in case. Katie sucks at painting.
He said I could.
No, why would you
Yes.
paint the trim?
You said I could get as close to it, that I could touch it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I said
Yeah.
you need to get close to it. And if you get a little bit on, it's not a big deal. You don't roll the roller the whole way up.
Go get a rag.
Now you. Look, you're in the doorway. We got the fan installed. Everything works. And this is exactly why I hate ceiling fan lights. See the shadows going around the room? Drives me nuts. And also look how dark it is in here compared to this. So much better.
So turn the light off.
So this is that cheap remote that came with the fan, and so there is no switch, it's just hardwired, and you know, you can control the speed and then turn the light off, turn the fan off, and this is probably about how we'll use this thing.
Just finished painting the bedroom, the first coat, and I'm gonna show you guys what our room looks like. So let us know what you think in the comments. We think it looks pretty fantastic, if we do say so ourselves. Awesome. So yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. Let us know if you have any questions or things you want us to expand on or share that we don't usually share. Let us know. Have a good night. Bye.